It's been a while, since we peeked in on the God Emperor, Lord Trump. Praise Trump! He's getting into some wacky hijinks, He's got some kooky stuff going on. The Supreme Court has ruled that his travel ban, which was ruled unconstitutional in lower courts, can remain in effect until the Supreme Court has a chance to hear the case in October. Now, that doesn't mean it won't be defeated in October. It just means that at least until October, it's allowed to be enforced. Now, the travel ban, the hell's the travel ban? Learn to talk, boy. Travel ban, it doesn't apply to everyone. Like if you're a student from one of the countries on the ban list, you can still come here to America. If you're visiting family here in America, you can still come to America. But if you're just a motherfucker from Syria, Iran, Libya, Sudan, Yemen, or Somalia, and you want to visit the US for some other reason besides being a student or visiting family, you're fucked, at least until October. And after October, you might be fucked for considerably longer. So there's a few things I want to say about this. First of all, if the idea is to stop travel from countries that are hotbeds of terrorism, why the fuck is Saudi Arabia not on that list? That one little country where the 15 of the 19 9/11 hijackers come from, maybe stop travel from that one. I don't know, I'm just wondering why. The other countries of origin for the hijackers, by the way, were Egypt, Lebanon, and the United Arab Emirates. None of those countries are in Trump's travel ban either. Biggest fucking terrorist attack in history. Don't ban any of the fucking countries that did that. Ban a random smattering of countries. Okay, that's kind of weird. Meanwhile, our Cheeto-complexioned, panty-wearing, blubbery emperor just sold $110 billion worth of weapons to Saudi Arabia immediately. That's a $350 billion deal overall because we're going to be selling them weapons for the next 10 years. So let me get this straight. A country, Saudi Arabia, that is known to sponsor terrorism, where almost all of the perpetrators of the worst terrorist attack in history hailed from, is getting hundreds of billions of dollars in weapons from Donald Trump. But he's keeping us safe by stopping people from Yemen. I looked into this. I looked into these 6 countries. There's almost no incidents of people traveling from any of these countries and doing terrorist attacks here. It almost never happens. In the cases of Libya and Syria, I couldn't even find one example. Not even one. Not in the last 40 years anyway. Didn't feel like checking back any further than that. So whether the Supreme Court rules that Trump does have the authority or doesn't have the authority to implement this travel ban, the bigger issue for me is that it doesn't seem to really make any sense, at least not from a terrorism perspective. Now, from a culture war perspective, it does make more sense. We've all seen what's happening in Europe. We've all seen that refugee populations are not integrating well into Western society. Way too many of them sexually assaulting women and girls on the streets. Too many of them wanting to bring their backward system of Sharia with them. It's like you escape a shithole that was created by Islam and its backwards tenets, and the first thing you want to do when you get somewhere else is implement them again. I mean, we don't need to import criminals to our shores. I can understand that line of thinking. I think we should be wary of both sides of this debate, though. It seems to me like liberals are just like, la la la, Islam is good, la la la, ignore all evidence to the contrary, la 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 la, I'm a liberal, la la la. And conservatives are just like, every goddamn stinking motherfucking Muslim on the face of the earth is the worst form of rapist, pedophile, terrorist monster ever. Fuck them all. Nuke the Middle East. Turn it to cinders. The Cinder East. I think that as far as refugees go, though my heart does go out to people who have genuinely lost their homes and are seeking somewhere safe to exist, I have to say that helping them is probably not worth the price of having the problems we're seeing take place across Europe. We've seen too much rape, too much crime in general, too much social clashing. And I understand why a leader like Angela Merkel let them in. It wasn't compassion. It was, hey, a cheap labor force. Well, here in America, we got Mexico for that shit. So in terms of restricting refugees from war-torn Muslim nations, I kind of understand where Trump is coming from. But when it comes to just generally restricting all travel from those countries, the move strikes me as unfounded, meaningless, and a symbolic gesture, basically, that's just meant to appease and impress Trump's base. It's not meant to keep America safe. But the travel ban isn't the only thing going on in Trump land. There's also the AHCA, the American Health Care Act of 2017, Trump Care. The Congressional Budget Office has taken a look at this piece of shit legislation, and here's what they've found. It's going to cause the amount of uninsured Americans to skyrocket by 24 million people. In other words, 24 million Americans who are currently insured will lose their insurance within 10 years of this bill's passage, taking us back to roughly the same amount of uninsured people that we had under the pre-Obamacare system. This is fucking ridiculous. The GOP wants to repeal something that brought the amount of people with health insurance up and replace it with something that brings the number of insured people back down. How is that good for our country? How is that good for the 24 million Americans that'll lose their health insurance? Apparently, when Trump said he wants to keep America safe from radical Islamic terrorism, it was just because he wanted to kill them instead. Why terrorize people with Islamic bombs when you can kill them much more agonizingly by just denying them health care? It's so funny to me when all these right-wingers act like Johnny Depp and Kathy Griffin and even Shakespeare somehow are out of line when they joke about or depict fictional Trump deaths. But all these same right-wingers are cheerleaders for Trump killing American citizens with his terrible fucking legislation. Trump is a bigger threat to American lives than terrorism if he pushes this fucking terrible Trump care bill through. That's not disputable. Estimates as to how many lives will be lost from the passage of this bill range from 28,000 to 100,000 a year. Now that's a really hard thing to actually figure out. It's hard to say how many people will die of illnesses that would have been treated under Obamacare but won't be treated under Trump care. But whether it's 28,000 or 100,000 a year, or even if both of those numbers are too high, let's say they're both way overestimating. Fuck Donald Trump. This is not greatness. This is not safety. This is a fucking Holocaust. I'm TJ Kirk. Peace the fuck out. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe and check out my social media and my t-shirts and my Patreon, all of which can be found in the description section down below. Thank you very much.